This one today is not going to seem like rocket science to you, but I promise it will make a massive difference in how successful you are when it comes to your habit of regular exercise, regular movement, weightlifting, running, whatever it is that you want to do when it comes to exercise. I know that that's a big part of fitness. It's something that we don't talk about a whole lot here. And I'm not going to talk about details today because I firmly believe that while for me, there are some things that work best when it comes to fitness, and there are definitely some things that I believe work best for most people, I don't believe that it's really all that healthy for me to say, here's how you should be exercising right now, especially when it comes to beginning. So, we're not going to talk about modes of exercise today. We're not going to talk about sets and reps. But what I do want to talk about is a little bit of mindset around exercise and address something that I have seen over and over and over again in my career in the fitness industry, something that has set tons of people, most people, I believe, up for failure when it comes to consistent exercise. Exercising consistently, and I think that we would all agree that in order for it to be effective, it has to be consistent. So, what is it? What's the thing that's holding people back from success, from making that a successful part of their life? It's their mindset around it. And it goes back to something that we talk about all the time here on this show, something that I talk about with people day in and day out. As you know, more than likely, I built a whole course around it, and the idea is habits, healthy habits. We have a Habit Academy, which is it's open for enrollment. You can always enroll, and it's just coaching. It's coaching, but it is around developing habits. And along with that coaching comes a course where every week or two we're focused on a very specific habit that we have found is a game changer in helping people move from less healthy to more healthy. With habits in mind, here's the thing that holds people up. They don't respect the fact that they're developing an exercise habit. And when we're developing habits, something that happens in an automated fashion, right? It feels like it needs to happen. We look at doing it every single day. True habits happen at least daily, if not more often. So how do we take advantage of that and use it to help us when we're developing our exercise routine? Here's the thing that holds people up. I'll ask them, how many times a day, or I'm sorry, not how many times a day. Let's just say we're going to exercise once a day, right? If you're like me, you do more times a day, different things, but most people want to do it once a day. So let me try that again. How many times a week do you want to work out? Right? You already know where I'm going with this, because so often people will then tell me, I want to work out twice a week. I want to work out 3 times a week. I want to work out 4 times a week. I want to work out 5 times a week. Whatever it is they say, unless they say 7 days a week, they're going to fail. They are more than likely going to fail. Right? It's very likely that this is not going to work for them unless they're trying to do it every single day. And the reason is, when we're trying to develop an exercise practice, the first day is fine. We got it. We did the exercise. But you know what? Tomorrow I'm not going to work out. Well, what do we do the next day? What do we do on the tomorrow when we're not going to work out? Because, you know, we say we want to leave time for our body to recover and all this stuff. So I've got to maybe do it every other day, or it's just not in my plan. Like, what do I do on the other day? The next day, for example. I would argue that most people go back to normal the second day. And if they're going back to normal and they're trying to still build these quote unquote normal days like the way they used to be before they started exercising, what is going to happen is this. The days to exercise will become fewer and fewer, farther and farther between until they're gone again. It is just the way life goes. It's the way habits work. It's always going to feel like an uphill battle, an uphill struggle, because the day then that you exercise is not normal. And it means now I have to take time out of something else that I'm normally doing in order to exercise. And the day will come, relatively soon for most people, when it doesn't work. Exercise doesn't fit in anymore because of my normal schedule, or because I have something now added on to my normal schedule, and it's just not possible. Are you following me? So here's what I'm going to encourage you to do. If you're working on an exercise routine, you want to get more movement in, you got to do it every single day. You have to leave time for it every single day. Now, I'm not saying, I know people are going to be like, hey, Nate, if you lift weights, you got to give yourself time to recover. And that sometimes is more than a day. I get it. In some situations, some methods of training, you want to give yourself a day off from lifting. Now, I personally don't. I lift back-to-back days, no problem. I believe that our bodies can adapt to that. And unless we are doing some crazy, insane training, we're going to be able to adapt and recover from those workouts, right? We're just regular people using our muscles. We're not going to the point of no return with our lifting. So I believe you can do it healthfully. I'll be happy to show you how. Send me a message and I'll show you how you can do it healthfully every single day. But here's what you do. Even if you don't want to lift weights back-to-back days, you have to keep that time set aside for something related to exercise. So if you're not going to lift weights, that's okay. But use the same time slot to take a walk, to do something to benefit your health. Maybe that time slot 2 or 3 times a week goes toward food prep. You use that 45 minutes or whatever it is that you set aside for exercise, use that for something else related to health. But you have to keep that time set aside. You have to not have quote unquote normal days anymore. The normal day is the day where you use that time to improve your health. So lift, and then the next day take a walk during that same time. The next day you lift again. Next day take a walk during that same time. Or you do your food prep during that time slot as well. Understand what I'm saying? If you do it that way, you are much more likely to be successful. I think you can already see that. And that's what holds people back sometimes. Oh, I don't want to commit to doing it every single day. You have to do it every single day. You have to set aside that time. Otherwise, it's going to get gobbled up by the old you, the way things used to be, the way you used to do them. The things you used to do in that time slot are just going to happen naturally. And the exercise routine you had great intentions of doing it is going to fall by the wayside. Does this make sense? I think it makes sense for you. This is huge. If I would have really started to push people in this direction a lot earlier, I know that I would have been able to help so many more people to be successful when it comes to working out consistently. I hope that you can take a look at your own routine, your own schedule, and that's a little action step from this exercise. Look at your schedule. If you don't have time set aside every day for exercise or for something related to your health, figure out how to do it. And what you're going to find is it's going to be a lot easier to stick to the routine because it will become a habit when you have that specific time every day set aside for it. I hope this was enjoyable for you. If you think that I am just off my rocker, this is nuts, Nate, this is too much, or if you thought it was valuable Either way, I'd love to get a message from you. Feel free to send me a message on social media at Nate Slegger. There are links in the show notes to other resources. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk with you again on Thursday for one of our longer interview episodes with a health expert. Talk with you again soon here on the Begin Within Health Show.